Everybody, happy Monday. This is Erica from In the Company of Cards back again. Thank you for all your comments on my conversation yesterday with Dr. Lena. It was a nice surprise to have her on as a Sunday conversation guest. And of course, we will be back again early July. We'll get together again. And I'm happy that you appreciate the conversations that we've been having. We really enjoy our time together. Thank you all for your kind comments, also on my work on Substack. If you're not following me there, go to substack.com and just put in the Company of Cards. It's the same title as this YouTube channel, and you can find where I write. And there I use tarot and Adinkra, which is an African oracle, as well as the oracle that I use here, which is Lenormand, however you want to say it, to look at the issues of the day. If you'd like to access my cards, they look like this. There's a link for that right under the video. Just press the you know the thing right under my video, and it'll take you to the links where you can access the cards and also the book, The Language of Lenormand, which is available everywhere. And if you are in France, you can get it through French Amazon, which is amazon.fr. So that's very cool. Okay, so I have this shouldn't be too long today. I have a few a few things I thought I would look at. Two of them have to do with my former residence, which is New Jersey. I lived there for many years, and then others have to do with other things, but all kind of 47 political related. But let's do the New Jersey ones first. So I have read on this one particular question before, got the answer that I got from the cards, and a lot of people didn't want to hear it any more than I did. So I think it might be a good idea to look at the question again and see if the answer has changed at all. And that question is, will New Jersey, which has a primary coming up in about a week from tomorrow, but that's just the primary. Then obviously they'll have an election in November for the governor, etc. But my question is, will New Jersey stay blue or turn red? It's been red before. I mean, in the many years that I lived there, it was blue, it was red. It's been both. Um, So for those saying, "Oh, New Jersey would never go red," well, it's been red. So let's look. I think what I'm going to do is I'll pull three cards for red. We'll have red at the top, and three cards for blue, and see what looks best. And I'll let Spirit pull all the cards. Okay. So will New Jersey come November go blue or red? Okay. This is red for Republican, and this is blue for staying Democratic. Okay, I'm going to say that things have moved and shifted. I always say that energy is mutable, which means it can change. So these are the cards for New Jersey going Republican. We have the mountain, we have the clouds, we have the young man. Mountain and clouds are making me think it will not go red. Uh, these may be the people who wanted to go red, but they won't. It won't. These cards are for the Democrats. We have the tower, we have the young woman, we have the child, And I I think these are more positive cards than the ones that I got for the Republican side. So I'm going to say that New Jersey stays blue. I might look at it again when we're closer to the time, but I think New Jersey will go blue. Okay, another question. This is also New Jersey, is about Cory Booker. Now, as it turns out, he's quite the controversial figure. He is, of course, the senator from one of the two senators from New Jersey, and he's the one who stood on the floor and filibustered for 25 hours, if you recall. And he got a lot of kudos and commendations for that. It's also true that during those 25 hours, there were votes that he missed because he was filibustering. So there's that. There's also the odd circumstance that he was the only Democrat to vote for the confirmation of Jared Kushner's father, Charles, to become our ambassador to France. Now, I mean, it seems to me that a smart party line would be, not that anybody's listening to me, for the Democrats to never vote for what you know who wants. Like, why would you vote for what Taco wants? Why would you do that? But Cory Booker, of all people, did. So there is speculation. Well, no, there's not so much speculation even. There is, evidence to support the idea that money makes the world go round, and money builds careers, money and power and influence, and a lot of times it's even more whom you know than it is what you know in terms of how high you rise. And Cory Booker's early political career was funded by powerful people, including Charles Kushner. There are other speculations about Kushner and Booker that I'm not going to go into, but what I would like to know is whether Cory Booker is compromised. I mean, why else would you vote in the ways that he's voted? And, could that 25-hour filibuster, which I'm sure was quite the ordeal for him, could that have been a smokescreen? So I think what I want to do is look for Cory Booker. Now, he's a man in his 50s. He doesn't look it. He's in great shape, but he is a man in his 50s. So we're going to use the older man and let that stand for Cory Booker. And I just want to see what's around him and whether what I see lends credence to the idea that he is compromised, you know. Okay. Not maybe as much a champion of the people as many would like to believe. Okay, so we're looking for the older man, and he pops right up. Well, you know, I'm going to pull some clarifiers because these cards are pretty positive, so sort of, so far. Interesting. Okay. Um, so we have the scales, we have the woman, we have Cory Booker in the center, we have the moon, and we have the sun. So I'm going to put them down and then talk about them individually. This is the card for justice, but it's also the card for cost benefit analysis. Uh, there's a saying, I think you've heard me say it before. I think I got it from The Great Debate or The Great Debaters. I don't know. It was a Denzel Washington movie. And in it, the line was, we do what we have to do so that we can do what we want to do. And so he may very well have had to look at the landscape and say, how can I get from where I am to whatever place it is I want to be? And maybe I have to compromise myself in order to get what I want. I don't know. Uh, Not sure who the woman is or whether this is just yin energy, meaning receiving energy, accepting energy, taking in energy, that he has received um, support from people in high places, including Kushner. That he's in the middle there. And then we have the moon. Now, the moon is about reputation. And then we have the sun. Would love to say, oh, this means that his reputation gets burnished and shined and is wonderful. I'm not sure. The sun is also a card that acts like a searchlight, like a flashlight, shows us things that maybe people would like to have not be shown about reputation, which is, where these questions are coming from in the first place. Now, again, if this is him saying, you know, I'm going to hold my nose and, do what I have to do to get where I want to be, I think that that has been something he may have done a long time ago or over a long period of time, because that's what the tree means. And in return for holding his nose and making and compromising some things reputationally or just ethically or whatever, he was rewarded financially. This is a reward, okay? And the fish is financial. So he did the cost benefit analysis. He said, I'm going to have to do what I have to do so that I can do what I want to do. So here he is being yin, receiving. And we have Clover, young man, and House. Because he was in that yin position, he got lucky, so to speak. And his rise has been, I don't know, relatively meteoric, actually. And here he is on the come up, as they say, probably with an eye towards vice president, president. This is aspirational. These two lines that I just went through are either past or aspirational. Okay, so then we have him here, and we have the scythe, the mountain, and the ring. So this is Cory Booker. And in fact, decisions that he has made in his life, which will come to light, decisions that he's made are going to block his path. Uh, and block him from the road that he's on. The road that he's on is the come up, right? He's this very popular senator who could stand for 25 hours without eating, drinking, or going to the bathroom. And it's a very flashy demonstration. We were all moved by it. But meanwhile, again, he missed votes and he participated in votes by voting for what 47 wanted when no other Democrat did. What's that all about? I think in the end that's going to block him from getting the brass ring, so to speak. His reputation is clarified, is the moon is clarified by the cross, the heart, and the mice. So this is his reputation being harmed. Also, this is more harm being eroded. The love that people may have for him and the high esteem that people may have for him will be eroded, eaten away, nibbled away at with all of these innuendos and rumors and no sort of explanation from him. But the last line is interesting. It's a very positive line. We have the sun, and as I said before, when I was going horizontally, this is a searchlight, a flashlight showing, casting light on things that maybe he doesn't want light cast on. But we have the stork, the garden, and the whip. Here's what I think. I think that he may have to um, take this battle head on. Be very forthright and honest. Take the slings and arrows and whips that are coming at him and that will come at him. But it could very well be the case that he could end up handling this with grace and with dignity and with honesty, because the stork is about positive change and the garden is about in the eyes of the people. So let me move these to the side, and I'm just going to draw a final three-card postscript to see if there's anything else we can see about this and what the result will be. Okay. Again, it doesn't feel good. I think um, he's taken support, taken, been given, received support from the wrong quarters, and I don't think it will end well for him in the end. In terms of his career aspirations, I don't think he'll go higher than he already is, which is pretty high. I mean, there's only but what? There's 100 senators. You're one out of 100 people in the country. So interesting. Um, okay. So that's it for New Jersey. The next thing I thought that I would look at is uh, weather related. Apparently, hurricane season, which starts today, will be pretty intense, especially on the East Coast. Well, do we have hurricanes out here? I don't think so. In California, I don't think so. But anyway, the hurricane season and tornado season and all those kinds of natural disaster seasons are upon us. And we know that FEMA has been decimated, although I've heard that there's a behind the scenes move to actually resurrect, beef up, and prepare FEMA on the DL, meaning undercover. They're not publicizing it. Um, because the worst thing that could happen to him is that we have this really bad weather season, and you know who says, yeah, well, the states have to handle that. I mean, on top of everything else going wrong for him, I don't think that would go over well. But at any rate, what I'd like to know is whether Mar-a-Lago will be adversely affected by hurricane season. And I think I'll use uh, I'll use the house for Mar-a-Lago. So the house this time is not the White House. It's not anybody else's house. It's the estate, the club, because that's what it is. Mar-a-Lago. Will it be damaged during this hurricane season that we are just now entering? Okay, we're looking for that. Oh, you know how I always kind of do a little shriek when the card is at the bottom of the deck or at the beginning of the deck? I don't know why, but anyway, whoop. So it's at the bottom of the deck. That means it's the last card. That means when I draw my line of five, which card will this be? The last card. So here we go. Watch me do this. So it's on the bottom of the deck, right? So I flip it over. That's the bottom of the deck. And then I pull the cards that go before it. Okay. So the cards are the book, clouds, fish, bear, and this is Mar-a-Lago. I'll pull more cards, but I will say that these cards alone indicate that there will be a problem. First of all, it'll come out of nowhere because, of course, the weather service has also been decimated, the meteorological service. So there will be lots of storms that just kind of seem as though they're showing up out of the blue with no days of preparation the way we normally would have for a hurricane. I was in Hurricane Sandy. It blew a hole. Well, it didn't blow a hole. It blew a tree, uh, uh, caused a tree, big tree, to crash on my house and made a big hole in my ceiling. And, we didn't have power or anything for 2 weeks. Well, it wasn't we, I was by myself. That was fun. So, hurricanes, I am well aware of the damage that they can do. People were rowing down the streets in boats. That's how much water it dumped. This is the storm hitting unawares, hitting Mar-a-Lago out of the blue. The second card is storms. Uh, and then fish. Fish is money. It's also emotion. I think it's going to damage it enough so that money will be needed to restore it, to fix it. And of course, he'll want to redirect money to Mar-a-Lago, if to nowhere else, because that's how he is. But let's just look and see if I can get any more cards that confirm the fact that Mar-a-Lago is going to be in the path of some hurricane or other. Okay. Okay. So on the book, I just drew one card because here it is. He's not expecting that the hurricane will hit him, probably because he thinks it will be protected by God. Um, you know, the way the blood on the lintel protected firstborn children from being killed by King Herod. He thinks he's protected by God, so that what could possibly happen to Mar-a-Lago? But the storm looks like it will come and lash Mar-a-Lago, because that's the whip. Uh, he believes that there will be plenty of money, and he's probably right to put it back together again, Humpty Dumpty's shell. He's content and calm about that. Um, this is the card for the bully, among other things. It means many other good things too, but in this reading, I think it's just him being a bully and saying, this is the, what does he call it? The Winter White House. So federal funds, of course, are going to have to be used to fix my house. And his house will be fixed. Garden, stork, young woman. It will be on the receiving ends of money, public money that will fix it. So, yeah, I do think Mar-a-Lago will be hit by some weather, some serious weather. And I think that he will issue funds to relieve that suffering when other places and people will be denied and will be told it's a state situation. So, okay. Uh, okay. Another one. Let's see. Two more, I think. So, uh, there are companies who are withdrawing their relationship, we'll call it, with law firms that capitulated to Trump. So, in other words, the law firms that sort of preemptively bent the knee, kissed the ring, those law firms are losing clients. The ones who've been resistant to him are gaining clients. So the ones that have that they've lost, the companies that have said, we don't appreciate the fact that you didn't stand up for truth and what's right. So we are divesting ourselves of your services. We don't want to do business with you anymore. These are companies like Morgan Stanley, Oracle, McDonald's, and Microsoft. Now, Microsoft made noises about changing their law firm, but then they engaged in conversation with the law firm and they said, "Okay, we'll keep you on." But they came very close to severing their relationship with the law firm that bent the knee and kissed the ring. So I just want to know what kind of message that sends. I think I think that's what I want to know. In other words, will more law firms say, let's kiss the ring and bend the knee, or fewer? Will more companies come forward and say, okay, we're not doing business with the ones that kiss the ring and bend the knee, or not? So I think that um, see, it just had in my head what card I thought I wanted to use. Um, hmm. I think the question should be, what will corporations do moving forward in relation to the law firms that they pick? And so if I want to go with corporation, I'm going to use the tower, and that will stand for corporations overall. What will they do? Will they be moving towards Taco or away from Taco? And the law firms support him. Okay, so we're looking for the tower because we see the trend, but is that really real? Or so these are corporations. Okay, so we have the woman, mice, tower, the bouquet, and again, he makes an appearance, the bear. So when I look to see what I can mirror, if we say that these are corporations and we mirror it with the bear, it will not, if they move away from Trump, this will not decrease his bear-like tendencies, his bullying tendencies. Those will continue. And I think that we can mirror the mice with the bouquet. I think what will happen is that these law firms will not be rewarded. The reward is decreased. The ones that support him will lose the reward of being able to work for these corporations. I think the corporations will take their business elsewhere. Now, these are the corporations. Look, we have the Lily and the Key and the Man. I mean, the problem is, how do you create, what is the key to creating a peaceful interaction here? Well, we know that if you capitulate as a law firm, well, now you've really put your, what, in a sling, because now you're required as part of the settlements and things to give free legal advice to him and his people. Well, did that work out for you? So corporations will have to decide, how, what is our best course of action? How do we feel? How do we enable ourselves to sleep at night? Do we go with the law firms that support Trump or not? And I'm seeing in the next line, this is the reward, which would be a contract that a corporation would have with a law firm, right, that they retain. And the clarifiers are star, young woman, young man. I think that these companies and these law firms are going to have to start looking in a more future-oriented way. Are they really, I mean, are they not tying themselves to him forever if they bend the knee and kiss the ring? And they want to be free and independent agents, right? Young, free, independent agents. And how do you be free? Well, you don't put your neck in a yoke, is how you remain free. He, the bully, is clarified by Clover, Cross, and Crossroads. But I think that the more he tries to bully them, the sooner, because this is quick, he will find that that's not the right thing to have done. He will be harmed, as will those law firms, because corporations will choose to go another way. They'll choose a different path. So, for example, think of Harvard and think of Columbia. Harvard is really in a tough spot. They're losing billions, they've already lost billions and billions of dollars. They may lose lots and lots of students come the fall semester. But what is intact? Their integrity. And over the long haul, that's what counts. So I think that these corporations will be watching and listening, and I think that more and more of them will follow the Harvard example over the Columbia example. Because Columbia now, I mean, they can't put a foot left, right, center. They can't go anywhere without his government's approval. And that's what kind of intellectual freedom does that foster? They made a mistake. They made a big mistake. So, interesting. Okay, finally, one more. So, Leonard Leo, or whether you know it or you don't know it, Leonard Leo is the head of the Federalist Society. The Federalist Society is this, I guess you'd call it, well, it's uber conservative think tank kind of operation, and right wing. And Trump was told that he should consult the Federalist Society when it came time in his first term. was going to say first semester, thinking of colleges, in his first term, to give him names of people he should put forward for judiciary appointments. And so he did. He just, I mean, he didn't know. I mean, he doesn't know these names, but they gave him a list of names, and he then had those people elevated to uh, the judiciary. I can say it. And so Leonard Leo is the head of that organization that gave those names. And I mean, again, Leonard Leo is responsible for a lot of things. He's a member of Opus Dei. He is, again, an ultra conservative, shadowy kind of a figure. They say that he's the one who gives the conservatives on the Supreme Court their marching orders in terms of what they should vote for. Not a good guy. But you know what they say? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's what they say. So, why am I talking about Leonard Leo? So, uh, you know that 47, for every law that he breaks and every outrageous thing that he does, a lawsuit is brought. And then the lawsuit works its way up into the courts. And that eventually these lawsuits get to the courtrooms of some of these judges, and some of whom he had appointed at the behest, the suggestion, the demand of the Federalist Society. And these judges have um, overwhelmingly voted against 47. So he's mad. And so the other day, he called Leonard Leo a bad guy and a sleazeball. Like, who talks like that? 47 does. And so the thing about Leonard Leo is here's what you're not going to see. You're not going to see him going on Fox TV uh, and railing against the fact that 47 had the temerity to be so rude as to call him those names and to malign the Federalist Society. He won't go on TV and do that. He doesn't have to. But it was a dumb move, which I'm all for dumb moves. It was a dumb move. In this case, I'm all for this move on the part of 47 because he, he cannot have won himself any friends with that comment. And so I would like to know what will be the consequence. For example, we know that 47 was given presidential immunity by the Supreme Court, by the conservatives on the Supreme Court, which basically, in a nutshell, means he can do anything and get away with it. I mean, am I right? That's pretty much what it means. Uh, I could see the possibility that Leonard Leo could take a meeting with his conservative flunkies on the court, entertainment purposes only, and say to him, okay, you know what? We gave this guy a chance, and here he is calling me a sleazebag and maligning the Federalist Society. So uh, I don't think he needs that presidential immunity clause anymore. So you all need to rescind that, retract that, take that back. But anyway, I just want to know what will be the fallout from 47 attacking Leonard Leo and the Federalist Society. And I think I'm going to let Spirit pick all the cards because I don't know, it's kind of more fun because I don't know what's going to be in the center. So, what will be the consequences of 47 maligning in public Leonard Leo and the Federalist Society? Will they let it go? Or will that come back to bite him in a big way? Okay. Okay. I'm nervous. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Now, the original line that I pulled looks really benign for him, for Trump, but I'm not sure. Let's see. So we have the key. There he is. Young woman in the middle, heart, and lily. So I think that one of the things that he will try to do is walk it back. 47. I think he'll try to walk it back. He will be told, somebody's going to inform him and say, that was really dumb what you said. So you need to, to fix this, to solve this problem, you really need to make peace with Leonard Leo, with the Federalist Society, and with the court, the Supreme Court. Uh, this is our 47, and I can mirror this with the heart. Again, he can say things like, oh, I misspoke, and I wasn't talking about you, Amy, Amy Comey Barrett. I wasn't talking about you. I think you're great. I love you. I appointed you. So you love me, right? I think that that's what he will try to, do a kind of a sweet talking thing with them. Okay, so then we have this key. He shows up again, and the bouquet and the star. Except that you know what I don't think? I think this is Leonard Leo. I think this is Leonard Leo, who's going to have made it very clear something that 47 apparently didn't understand, which is, I am the one who feeds you and decides your future. You only have the status that you have, the accolades that you have, the office that you have because of me. Leo Leonard giveth, and Leo Leonard can taketh away. So, blessed be the name of Leonard Leo, is the message that 47 will receive. Okay, here he is. This is Amy Comey Barrett. Not thrilled with him, with 47, and has not been thrilled with him for a long time. I don't think she's the acolyte that he wants her to be, 47. And she will not appreciate the Federalist Society being maligned, which is why he will try to sort of sweet talk her however he does that. Um, I think this is also Amy Comey Barrett. And we have dog, Clover, and Fox. You know, I do think that she and the other women on the court, maybe not all of them, but a couple of them, have become friendly with each other. And I think that that friendship will will, can be hmm, leveraged. Like it's an opportune moment to try to get even closer to her if you are one of the other or all of the other women on the court. Because she's very smart, Amy Coney Barrett, and she doesn't like the idea of being seen as being in Trump's pocket. Of course, she's in the Federalist Society's pocket. She is, but that's not going to be the same thing as being in Trump's pocket. And so I think um, the friendlier the other women are with her, the better. The more, the dimmer a light she will see 45 in, 47, whatever. Fourth card was this heart. Clarifiers are the whip, the letter, and the rider. Hmm. You know, the letter is votes. And this is the thing, the Federalist Society and Leonard Leo, even the Supreme Court, if you go back to 2020, I mean, 2000, the 2000 election, that was the Gore Bush election that the Supreme Court ended up deciding the wrong way. But anyway, here we are. Um, the message that 47 will get is that, you know, we can make this really difficult for you. This getting votes that you want, for example, in the House and the Senate, getting laws passed that you want to pass. We can make it really difficult for you unless you play ball with us. Last card was the lily. Clarifiers are fish, mountain, and garden. You know, I mean, he really threw down a gauntlet, 47, which disturbs the peace among them between him and Federalist Society and the court and Leonard Leo and all those people. They have some feelings about him. Now, I think that anything that's done to pay him back, to punish him, uh, will not be done in a way that the public can see it. But 47 will be made to pay a price for what he did. Um, yeah. And the price that he pays will be, I think he could lose his presidential immunity. I think over time, more and more of his power will be abrogated, will be taken away from him, will be seized. Finally, there's a question that I'm curious about. Lots of us readers have read on impeachment. I do think he'll be impeached once the Democrats are back in power in 26. If he's not gone before then because of some unfortunate event, you know what I mean? Entertainment purposes only. But um, I'm curious about this question. Is there a plot to help him depart from the stage? And by when I say plot, I mean, for example, is Vance, who is the the prince in waiting, right? He's the guy that would take over should something happen to 47. Is he is there an active plot that includes Vance? Is there an active plot to dethrone the king, to unseat the bear? Is there a plot to do that? Five cards I'm asking for just to show me that. I'll let Spirit pick them all. Well, I'm going to say that there is. We have the sun, the snake, the scales, 47, and clouds. I think he's getting more and more erratic and confused. So that's for sure. Um, it's very clear. Remember, the sun is clarity. It's very clear that he's not with the program, uh, that he's not running things as it is right now, that that's trouble. But more than trouble for everybody else, it's trouble for him because in the center we have the scales. And this is, I feel like, the people around 47, including Vance, doing a cost benefit analysis. Should we 25th Amendment him? Should we support his impeachment? Should we some kind of way hasten his time, shorten his time on the stage? I think that they are assessing that now. So, you know what? Finally, let me look at 25th Amendment, just because, for fun. So I'm going to use the letter. I'm going to actually pick a focus card. And the 25th Amendment is, remember, the amendment that says that the members of the government, the House, and the Senate, and the Vice President have decided that he is unfit to serve. Will it come to that? You know, will he be 25th Amendment? Cancel the letter. Okay, so the letter will be that piece of paper saying we're getting the net and the white coats and the um, straight jacket and the stretcher because you're out of here. So this is the 25th Amendment. I think it is definitely under consideration. We have the clover, the child, there's the letter, 25th Amendment, mice, and crossroads. Okay, so it has become, oh, well, let me put the cards all down. I'll pick them up as I read them. Um, it has become clear, and it seems to have sort of sped up because that's Clover, that he is really entering his dotage, meaning he's not well mentally. This is somebody who is naive, childlike, confused, speaks out of turn, like calling Leonard Leo a sleazebag. I mean, and the time in between weird things that he does is truncated. It's, the things are more and more and more and more often and just crazier and crazier. Um, and I think they're afraid of what he will do. The mice is worry, anxiety, fear. And so they are contemplating the fact that they maybe need to go a different way, which would be 25th Amendment him and doing it sooner rather than later. I would say watch what happens in August and September, because I think by then our economic situation will be bad. We will be at the height of storm season, and that will also be bad with no relief in sight. I think that the corporations and companies will be angrier and angrier and angrier about this tariff situation and the fact that people will not buy stuff. I think things will get worse and worse. I don't think that that parade is going to help anything, especially after it tears up the streets of DC to the tune of billions of dollars to fix them. I think things are escalating um, in a way that they need to escalate so that this nightmare can be gone from us. So, again, this is about doing what we have to do so that we can do what we want to do. What we want to do is create a democratic state, democratic country, because we've never actually been that. But that, we would like to create a more perfect union. But that means that we have to do what we have to do first before we can do what we want to do. And so I think there's a lot of pain ahead for all of us. But I think, again, I've said this before, when you think about the metaphorical revolution that's coming, which may or may not be so metaphorical, and you're storming the Versailles, the castle, and you see on the one side of you a MAGA person who's disgruntled now against the king, and then on the other side of you, the head of I don't know, Walmart or something, and you're all storming Versailles together. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I think there will be some very strange bedfellows by the end of the summer coalescing um, to to change who's at the helm. That's what I think. So stay tuned. Please do like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed because sometimes, I don't know, whatever YouTube does, they unsubscribe people. So just make sure that you're subscribed. And thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it. See you soon.